Hello. Hope everybody's doing good. It's been a few days since I've done a video. Um, I really just I was trying to tell this in a timeline kind of way, keeping things in order. But like I said before, I'm probably going to end up going all over the place because I want to. I want you to see how I experience every day in this new state I'm in. I mean, like, I'm just waking up to new things all the time. And once you start down this path, there's no turning back. I mean, this is not anything that you can pretend isn't happening. I mean, it just changes your life completely. You just can't look at the world the same. There's so much going on around you that just doesn't make any sense until you start looking at it in a spiritual way. And there's so many things to keep us distracted, to keep us from looking at the truly important things going on in the world. And I believe to keep us distracted from our real purpose. And it's like when I first decided I wanted to make videos several years ago, and as a matter of fact, it was before I even started working in the film industry. Just before when I started seeking truth and wanted to share what I was learning. Immediately, I thought, I would like to communicate this on a video or somehow, maybe at the time I even considered like being a preacher type of I don't remember exactly what I had in mind to begin with, but I do know this, that every time I had an idea of what it was I was going to do, right away I would run into somebody else that was doing it, or I would be brought to the attention of somebody that was already doing that, or something would happen that I knew this happened to change my mind. That's not a good idea. That what I'm thinking, what I'm considering is not right for me. That's not what God wants me to do. And so all this time, that I'm thinking, how am I going to share my message? How am I going to help people? Because once you become born again, is what I'd like to call it. I mean, that's the best way to describe becoming born again. Once you're there, once you're born again, you want to share it with everybody. And anyway, every time I would have an idea and decide to do, especially in the last 2 years when I started getting into flat earth, and I remember as soon as I heard about it, and started looking into it, just, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think about anything else. I mean, I was just constantly researching, like, is this possible? And I would go to the library and go to bookstores and get on the computer and Google things, and just try to find as much information as I could on this. And I would think, wouldn't it be nice to have? And I started watching some videos out there, which was like Eric Dubay and Matt Powerland and I think Matt Powerland was the first one I ran across, and then Eric Dubay. And I started thinking, well, wouldn't it be cool to have a show where you interviewed people doing that, and then the very next day I see Patricia Steer's first video, and that's the way it's been for 2 years. You know, every time I had an idea of what I would want, how I would want to put this on video, somebody else was already doing it. You know, right away I would be introduced. Up until just a couple days ago, a guy I came across was speaking on the exact subject. It was kind of mixing Christianity with yeah, it was basically he was just using his Christianity experience to relay his message the best way he's familiar with, you know, through the Christian religion. And anyway, which is basically what I'm going to do, because that's where I started, you know, was with the Christian religion, and every religion has its purpose to lead you to truth. And when you no matter what religion you are, when you decide you just want to totally go all in and know the truth and know God and search God, it doesn't matter what religion you're in, you're going to come to that. God is going to reach out, and be ready for it, because there's no turning back. It's a new world. It's a new game. And but we all have our own message, and nobody can make the same type of, I mean, you know, we just need to do what we feel led in our hearts to do, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just not putting it off anymore. That's why these are kind of crappy looking videos, and you know, the lighting's not right. I don't know about all that stuff. I'm going to learn. I'm going to try to get better at it, but God knows I have all kinds of friends that know all about this stuff. So eventually it's all going to work out, but I'm just not putting it off anymore. I'm putting it out there now. And you know, when these things happen, when you get an idea, and then you immediately you find out somebody else has already thought of that, done that. God's already, he's letting you know, I've already got somebody taking care of that, because all these people doing their own thing, sharing their own message, using their own talents or whatever, their capabilities, and sharing their message, they're doing their part. And it's like we're all parts of this finely tuned machine that God has created to accomplish his goal, which I believe is to wake people up and to free people in bondage, and to give them hope and let them know that we're in a crazy place right now, and we're here to help each other and lift each other up, and not break each other down, and judge one another and hate one another. And so anyway, yesterday, so I was thinking about a friend of mine that I know, and and also thinking about what would be the best, um, I guess you would say, platform to help my community. Like, I was thinking about, like, I have this restaurant right now that I'm actually living in and not running. If you haven't watched my other videos, I'm in this situation now where my restaurant is closed at the moment. I'm actually living here. I've got my stuff here. I moved in here 3.5 years ago with the intention of buying it, and could have done so at a couple different points and didn't. And now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do to keep my spot in here, and still hopefully buy it. I feel like God led me here. I feel like there's a reason why. And so I'm just pondering all this, and I'm thinking, what could be the reason? What are the things in this community that I would like to change? How I'd like to help this community? A couple of different things right off the bat. I know is people suffering from drug addiction and going to jail instead of getting treatment, that kind of thing. I'd like to help in that area. Bringing people together that are like-minded, like people that are awake like I am now. Some have something where we can get together and have church. I wouldn't call it church, but where we can get together and bond a little bit and share with each other and fellowship with each other a little bit. And I'd like to have a little studio built in here or set up in here to where the videos look good. So I'm trying to think of what platform, and I start thinking, I've had a lot of run-ins with suicides, and I thought, just in the last few years, but really it's happened. And maybe we all have, but there's been several people in my life that have killed themselves, not, immediate family or somebody directly connected with me. Like, I don't think I've been driving people to kill themselves. That would be a terrible thought, but no. But I've been experiencing the damage done by suicide. Actually, immediate family. When I was 9, my aunt was murdered and by her husband, and then he committed suicide, and he did this in front of her children, and my mom was devastated and basically had a nervous breakdown, and I had to deal with all that, as a child, and so it was very traumatic. And then later on in life, I lost friends to suicide. And if you think about it, drug addiction is a slow suicide, smoking, slow suicide, suicidal tendencies. But anyway, I was thinking about this, and I had thought about my friend, and if I didn't get a text message from this girl, I haven't seen her in several months. And I was thinking about her, and I was thinking about this other stuff. And if she didn't end up texting me last night and ask me if she'd come by and talk to me, and I told her, of course she could, and basically when she does that, I know she's upset. Anyhow, so I figured she probably was wanting to talk about something might be bothering her or whatever. But to make a long story shorter, she came by and we talked and everything, and she said that she had drove her car out into the country and was actually thinking about killing herself. And she thought about who should she call to talk to rather than leave this world, I guess. And she thought about me and she called me. And it just, I mean, things like that just, I believe, is confirmation. I don't think these things are, you can't call it coincidence. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff. And then after she left here, she texted me to thank me again for the conversation we had and for having her over and all that. And it was 9/11 at night. And so I've been talking about that number, 9/11, how it keeps popping up. So anyway, that was a pretty cool thing that happened yesterday. And so I think that what I might try to provide in this area is some kind of help for those that are thinking of committing suicide. And maybe it doesn't just have to be here. Maybe it could be an internet thing. I don't know. It's just it's a thought. I'm just trying to go where the Spirit leads me, and I really want to make some connections on here. Find people like-minded. That want to help me, figure this out, and let's share with each other. Let's tear down some of these walls and reach out and touch each other and love each other and help each other. Just a few thoughts. Love you guys. Bye.